Let's try this again. How about it? Matt Schwartz, head of design here at Sport Trade, chief noodler. I'm Dan Koob. I always said the show should start at 4:15, not
perfect time
4.
to start.
So, living on borrowed time with this thing. But hey, when technology is involved, things happen. So it sounds like we've got audio. It sounds like we've got some video. And my board here works, so I'll be able to show you some different things. So we're going to go ahead and have a show. Why not? Let's have a show. Matt is here. This is an episode I'm actually really excited about because, oftentimes, Matt, we have folks on who want to talk about the Phillies or the Flyers or the Sixers or the Thursday night football game or what they're trading on. This is sort of an inside baseball show because we want to talk about the design of Sport Trade, why it was designed that way.
Yep.
Very intentionally, obviously, and who we did it for. And we're also going to what I'm going to call a Sport Trade self-scout. This is a self-scout episode. Typically for a football team during the bye week, what do? You have no opponent to scout, so you look at tape of yourself. You do that because you want to get better. And that's what this show is. Yep. We want to get better, and we're going to discuss real feedback that you and your design team, your research team, has gotten from Sport Trade users and the actionable response that we and your department have done in order to make their experience better.
100%. We love talking to users. We've talked to a lot. Talked to a lot of early adopters.
Well, we want people to use the app, obviously, but we want them to have a say because, as we have mentioned over and over again, if you've been following our marketing materials at Sport Trade, is that we are for the trader.
Correct.
Sports books are not necessarily that way, and we make money when people win on Sport Trade.
Right.
So in your conversations with folks who are using it, what is it what is there a common thread, a common thread?
Yes. I mean, we've talked to a lot of the early adopters. We even talked to some of the naysayers that are like, I don't know if I understand probability yet, but I have FOMO. I want to get in there. So we're talking to both sides of the story. Some of the common threads are like, the executions are so fast. I don't have any spinning wheels. The one we heard yesterday, we were talking to somebody who lays some big bets, is there's no limits. He's like, I'm trying to drop 2K on another book. They limit me to 200. Sometimes they say no. I can get whatever I want in there. The liquidity is there for me. So we've really heard a lot of positive things. We've also heard some things that we need to fix. And that's really what we're all about, is listening to the user, putting something out there, responding to what they're saying. We see it on Twitter. We reach out and talk to them. We see them coming into customer support. We hop on a phone call with them. And it's always an awesome, insightful conversation.
So Sport Trade just launched about 6 weeks ago in New Jersey, but you've been here for 2 years.
Yes,
so there's a lot.
September
there's
2020.
A lot that goes on behind the scenes at Sport Trade. So when you were brought in to design the look and the feel of the app, what were your initial thoughts, your initial design concepts?
Well, Alex showed me his napkin sketches, literally.
Literally on a napkin.
He was on a napkin. He put a little bit into some of our design apps, and it got the point across of what he's trying to do. I think going into the sports betting ecosystem, all the books look the same. They all feel the same. We're coming out with something different. We want to target the people who maybe get capital markets and also into sports betting at first. And so we've really started to look at what makes those capital markets apps great, like Robinhood, Coinbase. We use a little bit of interactive brokers. Some things that stand out in there, right? They have a big, good use of space, typography, color, interactions. Things seem familiar. It's not foreign to somebody using it on a phone, whether it's iOS, whether it's Android. So we really wanted to focus on that type of design sort of aesthetic. But then we're out there and we've been sports bettors in books for a few years. A lot of the books are the same. They're full of, hundreds of games, dozens of lines, dozens of props. They're all over the place. It's hard to find. I equate it to, you walk into a room at a party and everybody's talking to you at once and you're like kind of overwhelmed and you're like, oh my God, just everybody be quiet for a second. We wanted to not have it feel like that, right? You're in there, you're trying to place a bet, and they're slinging a roulette wheel at you.
Yeah, right.
They're slinging a slot machine at you. We want to have a little bit more of a personal conversation, build it for the user. We have something out there. What we're tweaking and enhancing is how can we customize it for users more, make it more of like personal kind of one-on-one conversations in the app, not so much screaming at you to do this and do that.
It is interesting, right? So many books will preach publicly responsible gaming, but then they'll give you $50 free to the roulette table.
100%.
In an effort to kind of get you to go to the casino. And that's not something we want to do. Something also that we are very passionate about is inclusivity. We wanted to design this app to make sure that it didn't feel broy, for lack of a better term.
Yes, I will keep the term at broy. We wanted to be approachable. I have my acquaintances, many who have wanted a sports bet. Maybe they've done it during the Super Bowl a little bit when I'm like betting and they're doing like coin flip, but they're just a little bit intimidated and they are doing it all the time. We're watching football on Sundays and they won't stop talking about, what'd you get in at? Are you in from 10? I'm in from 30. I'm up 30. I'm up 40. I'm like, this is amazing. These are people that have never bet on sports before and it's real approachable. We had somebody mention like they don't bet on sports much. One of our colleagues was in a bar sitting down with her and she's betting with her and she's like, this thing is so intuitive. I don't understand odds and I get this. And so we know it's attracting that crowd. And then we hear the other side of it, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm used to the odds.
Well, we're going to talk a little bit more about American odds and their place at Sports Trade a little bit because that is probably the number one feedback we get.
It's up there. It's up there.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we'll show a couple pictures here of the very first designs. You can definitely see some of the lineage between.
These are wireframes, of course.
Yeah.
Our aesthetic was not that stark, but yes, we tested these.
This is stark.
This is November 2020, about 2 months after we started. Alex and I started interviewing people. Funny story, the first person we ever interviewed was the first person who happened to make their first trade.
Right,
It was just a coincidence. It was pretty amazing. Talked to him about this then, talked to a few more users, and this is all about usability. How can we use patterns that people in iOS are used to?
Clean, right? That seems to be something that I hear all the time. The app looks very clean.
Yeah, I mean, I guess some people are like it's too minimal. There's too much white space. Like crunch, fit more bets in there. We hear that. We definitely do. Through testing, people on phones like to scroll. They use their fingers, and they're okay hunting around, scrolling around for a bet. It doesn't need to be squeezed in there. I mean, clean's a good term. Less yelling and loudness.
So describe to me a little bit of the journey, right? I'll pop up what the app looks like now. You can see it to our right here. Describe a little bit of the journey from where that was, that very high contrast white and black, to where we are today.
So aesthetic-wise, right, we do want to support light and dark mode. It's an accessibility thing. We want to be accessible. We are working on improving our app to make it more accessible in the background for people with screen readers. But aesthetic-wise, we wanted to not only use color to introduce things, so we wanted to use labels and clearly label what's happening in the app, make it use it's not sort of out-of-the-box iOS patterns. We're doing the same thing on Android, so it's easy.
What does that mean?
That means like you're not inventing a new interaction, right? Somebody goes in there when they tap on something, when they swipe something, when they see language, they can kind of expect what it's going to do, right? You'll see apps out there with the tab bar has no labels on it. It's a bunch of icons. Cool, it looks slick, but it's not usable. It's not accessible to people who have low vision. Like make it accessible, have intent for everything you do. If you go out of the box, or if you don't go out of the box, you make a bunch of custom stuff. There's a learning curve to learning how the app is used and the usability, and we've found like the usability of it's way up there. It's more about the features and the way we describe a few things that we're tweaking.
And when you look at the way a lot of sports books are designed, they're all basically the same.
They're all.
I don't think that's
they are
not
they're web apps
coloring out outside of the
wrapped,
lines.
and they're all the same. They have the little 6 box crammed in there with every bet you could possibly imagine. Half the time, the other half the time is whatever lock is on whatever.
Designed by the same company.
Yes,
Many of them.
Yes, many of them are powered by the same engine, and so we're fortunate. We built the exchange, we built the app. We can kind of do what we want. It doesn't give us free reign to try all new things that people won't get. That's what we want. We want to make the app familiar, right? I would love it. My goal is people are using an app that just works. They actually don't necessarily think about the UI or think about these things. It's just, I place a bet, I go, I manage it. I can check out my portfolio, I can get out. The app just sort of disappears in the background. That's sort of the goal of it. We don't want it to be, this is too cumbersome.
Obviously, the design team at Sporttrade is great. A lot of the animations you see here are market movers designed by your team.
Oh man, Kenzie
which is
on
awesome.
our team.
Yeah, Kenzie's the best.
Yep.
Lee, who I haven't seen in months, I hope he's okay. Haven't heard from him in a
He's
long
building
time.
a house by himself.
Fair. He doesn't call. He doesn't write. So I don't know what he's doing.
Lee, Carly, Kenzie, Adam, they're all awesome.
Team is fantastic. Do the comments or the thought of getting negative comments keep you up at night a little bit?
This may sound weird, and I'm not lying when I say this. The thought of only getting positive comments keep me up at night. People. Sometimes you talk to people on the phone, and you're like, we do not take insult to anything, right? Like we're just here to make it work. Design's too important to be left up to the designer. Like we want to talk to you and get it. So I get more nervous when we're like, we haven't gotten enough. Are we asking the right questions? Let's dig in there. There's got to be some issues that people have. So no, I mean. That stuff doesn't keep me up at night. It's how much stuff we want to get in here and do, and how can we get it in there quicker. That's what keeps me up at night.
So we'll pull up this little video here that you sent me. This is from almost a year ago, and these were some, as you call them, noodles. You are our chief noodler. You can definitely see the Robinhood thumbprint here.
Yeah. This is probably over a year and a half ago. Yep.
Okay.
We definitely took that total stock market data visualization approach. We tested this. This stuff was working well. It just comes down to shipping product and bringing out a product that is the core of the product. The fundamentals work so great, and then we'll start to layer all of these other features on there. Some of these things, right? I think that one looks like it has a swipe.
Yeah.
Swipe to place order. That was fun to think about. Not very usable. Not very accessible for people with issues with dexterity. So. We wanted to go to some single taps.
So how about the line graph here? Right, we're seeing a line graph on the roadmap.
Data visualization, more data is 100% on the roadmap. We hope soon we'll have a little bit more. We plan on having a little bit more data in there soon. So maybe it'll talk about where you got in, what it was when the game started to help with CLV and calculations more. Data visualization, a huge ask. People want to see it. People want to see. How did I do today? I was betting all day, in and out on a Sunday, and I want to know how did I do?
We do want to get into some feedback that your team has gotten. So let's do that now. I mean, I think what you're going to hear in some of the feedback and Matt's answers could hopefully answer some questions if you're watching Market Movers. That's why we wanted to have this episode. Again, sort of a self-scout. Matt Schwartz is our head of design. My name is Dan, if you haven't figured that out yet. Thanks for watching. We'll start with the first one, which is line movement in the app. So if you've watched Market Movers, you know that we actually don't move our lines. Once they're posted, the only thing that moves is the price. So this is an actual quote, feedback from a user. It says, if a line moves over the week, I noticed you don't always move the line, so you don't have what I'm looking for. This is something you're hearing from bettors, who I assume come in saying, hey, maybe the Eagles opened at 3.5 and now they're at 2.5. I want to jump on a more recent line.
Correct.
And they're not able to.
Yeah, they're trying to, where it came down to, this user was trying to compare apples to apples, right? He's looking on a Tuesday and it's plus 3.5. And by Friday, all the books moved to 4.5 and ours is still sitting at 3.5. Yeah, that's a trading, those are contracts people traded, so you can still trade. That price is going to change. There will be more additional strikes that get added, so eventually. So yeah, we will list more of those. But yeah, we're not In a book, they're just going to move the line and change the odds. You know, we have something you're trading. It's tangible. Like that 3.5 stays there. You can trade it.
And then it comes down to what price are you willing to pay.
Yep.
Right. Our next one here is somebody who's new to betting. We talked about approachability, trying to sort of knock down some of those barriers of entry for those who may not understand American odds conventions or even sports betting in general. But as we've said on Market Movers, if you can count to 100, you should be able to understand this. This says it's more intuitive than sports books. I don't understand the odds. How often are you encountering folks who just may not understand American odds?
We encounter them a lot, but more so, they're actually just they've just started using the app, and they don't come to us, or we don't hear them loudly because it's just working for them. Right? We're going to hear the ones that are like, "Hey, this app isn't working." The perfect example there is, and we've talked to this person, we've talked to other people like this, right? I want to buy something at 40, and I want to make $40, right? I buy a contract at 40, I want to make $40. Where are you going to sell it? You're going to sell it at 80,
right?
Make $40. Well, if you're going to buy it on American Odds at 40, it's at about plus 147. Well, where do you got to sell it at to make $40 if you're buying it plus 147? Can you do the math?
No.
It's minus 408.
I sure can't.
I know this because I've checked this. Like, it's just, yes, I mean, I want to make $40. I'm buying something at 40. I know I got to sell it at 80. Like, it is. Now, on the other side of the coin, like we said, people who are so ingrained in American Odds, I have many acquaintances, friends, neighbors who are into American Odds, and some are coming over, some are not yet. And they're like, no, I don't want to learn that new thing. I just know American Odds.
So that'll bring us to the question on most folks' minds, I suppose, which is about American Odds and their place potentially within the SportTrade app. This particular user said, quote, American Odds would be helpful in the app for learning so you can see how prices compare. Once you become familiar, it'll become less necessary, but there is a learning curve, so it's valid for people to wonder where American Odds are. I agree. Because it is a new convention. So what sort of updates can you give us, Matt, about American Odds and their place within the SportTrade app?
When we built this, we said we were building this for people who understand capital markets, want the easy 0 to 100. We tested this a lot. We didn't release this knowing, nobody's gonna say anything about American Odds. Yeah. Like we knew everybody was a lot of the betting community was gonna talk about American Odds. And we had some ideas, but we're full steam ahead, testing it right now and noodling around on it. I can show it. I don't know if you want me to show it.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know. I don't want to screw up any technology.
That's okay. Hey, look, the show started 15 minutes late. We didn't have audio. The GoPro's not working. The last thing that could go wrong is you plugging in your phone.
There you go.
So let's see.
So we're testing it right now. We're getting great feedback. When I say great, I mean feedback that's negative, feedback that's positive. Negative feedback's great. It's all good. Always want to talk to people.
Here, let's try this one.
Yeah, sure.
We got wires for everything, folks. Let's try that one.
You are, you know how to do everything. Self-producer.
Sure.
Anybody does want to see it, go ahead and tweet at us too, and maybe we'll run you through a little test.
There you go.
If we don't get it up.
All right. Well, hey, one of those shows. Why don't you tell us about it, and I'll cool. workshop this.
So, yeah, go for it. So, we have this idea of your trading experience. You can go into account, you can turn on advanced mode, you can turn on simple mode. When the app ships and you open it in your phone and install it, it says it's all in simple mode, buy price. Turn on advanced mode, you turn on shorting. Shorting allows you maybe to bet against teams in futures. In that area, we're going to expand that, and we're going to start to add some customization. So as a bettor, you can come into our app, and you can sort of customize what you see. Maybe you want to see liquidity at all places of the app. You don't want to go in and place an order every time to see liquidity. Maybe you want to see American Odds. Maybe we just want to show the conversion, the quick conversion, still operating in a 0 to 100, but we'll do the math for you and let you know that 40 is at minus 147, plus 147. So you can go and compare. A lot of times we hear people saying, hey, I just want to compare. I want to make sure you are the best price. We have a ton of users who are making their own spreadsheets, trading with that. Unabated has been awesome. Captain Jack just added our pricing to unabated. And we had one user that actually said, he's like, I went from mostly not intending to use your app to now planning to use it quite frequently because of unabated. Great. So it's awesome. We know it's there. We're going to work it in. Wow, look at that.
Look at that. There we go. Power of technology.
God, you're a producer. You're
Well, I
a
wear a
host.
lot of hats here. We'll remember that for my performance review.
Yeah, so today we have this idea you can turn on advanced mode, simple mode. It basically allows you to short or not to short. Shorting can get a little tricky if you're not familiar with it, so we put it behind kind of an advanced setting. But then coming in here and saying, hey, I do want to customize my view. Maybe I want to see some American odds so I can see, all right, Dallas to win trade at minus 170.
So pause right there. Let me,
Absolutely.
because I think this is really important. Let me see if I can pull this up in a larger screen. That way folks can see. Okay, go ahead.
Right, I want to buy the Eagles at 40, but I'm comparing to all the books. Is that a good price? I can pull out my sheet. I can go to a site and check it out, or right here we can quickly see like, all right, if I'm comparing prices at plus 147, we're adding in possibly if you want. Maybe you want to see the liquidity around the whole experience. A couple feedback on here, right? We're hearing right now like, oh, I love seeing it in contracts. Can I see it in dollars? Sure, why not? We could do the math. 62.5 times 110. We'll give you the equation of how much liquidity is there in dollars. That's what we want to hear, right? We have ideas. We're going to throw them out there, see if they stick, and then test them.
So have we shown potential users this new iteration of showing the conventional odds?
We have.
Okay.
Yep. And feedback is, hey, can you change 6250 to American odds? Could, but we're a 0 to 100 app.
Yeah.
Our trading probability is the price.
Well, I mean, it seems to me that it's somewhat intuitive. If you see plus 147 here on the Eagles, and you see that at 40 and minus 170 of the Cowboys, one would assume that is the literal translation, like that is the conversion.
Yep.
So you wouldn't need anything else.
Yep. Overarching, talking to Adam, who's leading our
Yeah.
research, he's like, hands down, everybody's like, this is great. This would get me in here. This would get me to easily convert it, so I don't have to leave your app. We hear the phrase "time is of the essence" pretty often. So
Sure.
people want to get
Especially
the
when
bet
live
in.
trading.
Right. One of the differences when we were like building this app and we said, hey, we could do the complete Robinhood thing. Yeah, well, Robinhood's cool, but it's a hair slow. There's a lot of interactions to bet. Like we've got to go quick. We've got to get in there and get people to bet. So in this sense, right, I want to go in here. I want to place a buy. Let's say $100. Well, here I can see, all right, they're still trading at plus 147, so that $100 is going to win me $147. If I have my other sports books up or I have an aggregator and I'm checking and comparing odds, I can completely compare it. This goes to 41. This goes to 41.50. American odds could change, so you keep in line of what you're trading. Place your order. Lets you know, yep, you got in at 40. I want to compare. We heard yesterday. I think you should sort of tell the story a little bit through the entire experience. So maybe you're on your portfolio now, right? You've traded the Eagles. You're in from 40. Just to let you know, you got in from
And let me stop you here. So on this screen, we have game state data.
Yep.
Which is also one of the biggest questions we get.
That's actually, I was talking to Adam this morning. That's pretty much the biggest question.
Yeah.
That's been on the roadmap the whole time. We want to get it there as soon as possible. It's going to be in there soon. Yep, exactly. People don't have to leave the app to see the score. Here's an example of Cowboys Eagles games, third and 8 on Dallas's own 35 as they're driving down the field. This way it helps figure out, okay, what's the pricing doing?
Right.
Okay, now I get it. Oh, okay, I get it. It's a review. The play's under review. Pricing's a little wide right now. I get it. I get why the price might be volatile.
So a feature that is coming. Anything else you want to show us before we go on to our final user comment?
I don't. This
Okay.
is it. This is the American odds we're working through.
Yeah.
Don't worry, they're coming in. Keep talking to us.
Building bridges. That's what we're trying to do. Our last comment is about logging out of the app, actually. So your app seems to log me out way quicker than every other app, like maybe 5 minutes or so.
Yeah,
I've experienced that as well.
That user, you've complained to me before about it.
I
said,
wouldn't say
"Dan,
complain. I wouldn't say complain.
not a real
I
user."
was, I was kvetching slightly. But
What
that's
is the
that's
deal
it.
with this login?
All right, Jerry.
Yesterday we were talking to somebody and they actually said this quote and he timed it to 5 minutes. I'm like, wow, he must timed it because
Yeah.
we are. It's 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That's getting expanded. So
Okay.
that will be adjusted soon. We're also introducing Face ID login, which can
Yeah.
be a little bit faster. Sort of the idea of like flip up your phone if you want to enable it, or Touch ID, sort of the biometrics. You'll just log in a lot quicker. So that's been a little friction point because time is of the essence. People want to get in there and make a bet.
Well, like I said, a great opportunity to self-scout. We have listened. You've reached out to our team. We are listening. We are making, I wouldn't say changes. I would say adjustments to
All enhancements.
enhancements to improve the experience on SportsTrade. I think it's a great idea. But, we would be remiss if we did not mention that Matt is a huge Baltimore Ravens fan. So a quick wardrobe change here for the first time ever on Market Movers.
Talk about Thursday Night Football.
Thursday Night Football, the Bucks and the Ravens. Now, I'm a little upset. We have an Ed Reed jersey in house. I'm a little upset there's no Ray Lewis jersey. I offered to do deer antler spray with Matt before the contest, but he said no, couldn't find any in time.
I ran out.
Using it at home. Guys are weekend warriors. Should see him bench press. It's unbelievable. The Ravens and Bucks. Let's switch phones. We'll pull up the market here for Ravens and Bucks.
Ravens are
on Sport Trade.
I think they're a tough team to bet on, but I think they're a perfect team to trade on. You don't know what you're getting with the Ravens. Kind of similar with the Bucks. There's a whole new defensive scheme this year. They're all zone and not blitzing as much, and I don't love it. They're getting burned a lot on the 25, 30-yard passes. But because you kind of don't know what to get, like, why lock your money in there? Like, they're the perfect team to trade.
Well, here's the market. Ravens 53. We've seen a little bit of price moving here. So these are actually the prices on your screen, a little out of date. So I'm actually going to take them down. Ravens 53, Bucks 48 on the winner line. The Bucks plus 1.5 at 51.5. Ravens minus 1.5 at 49.5. The total 44.5. The over at 53, the under at 48. So as a sports trader and as a Baltimore Ravens apologist and Lamar Jackson apologist, how would you approach this game? I love Lamar. Just giving you a hard time.
Oh, well, yeah, you used to cover Lamar. You do love Lamar. So I'm not trading pregame. I'm all in play on here.
Okay.
Definitely in play. To me, it kind of goes down to the coin flip. Ravens, if they win it, they're always deferring. I think most teams do.
Yeah.
If Ravens defer it, I'm going to wait for that price to dip a little bit. When the Tampa Bay at least goes down and kicks a field goal or something.
Real quick, a good comment here, actually, something you and I have discussed from Billy, which says, waiting for you guys to put the home team on the bottom of the app.
Yep.
Thank you, Billy, for bringing that up, actually. Matt and I talked about that the other day.
This wasn't even my list. And this has been changed. It's on our next upcoming release.
Yes.
I've been cornered in the office. It's like, why did you guys do that? And I mean,
that literally was me 2 days ago. I said, Matt, please come into my office, Studio S here. And I was like, what? This is tripping me up, but I make the ticker. So I make the ticker every day, right? The little ticker that's like right down here. I make this every day, and sometimes it trips me up. And I'm like, why is this that way?
It's to trip you up.
Oh, well, it's successful.
There's several reasons around it on how we were showing the favorite and not the favorite, but at the end of the day, like, it is backwards and it is confusing. It's more just annoying. I mean, everybody we've talked to is like, well, I figured it out, but it's really annoying. Like 100%. We've adjusted that.
Okay, so there you go.
It'll be the next release.
Billy, It'll be the next release. Thanks so much for your comment. That has also been addressed and been fixed. Okay, so back to Lamar. The Lamar show. You're saying you're going to in-game trade this one? The Bucks look terrible.
See, we were talking about this earlier. I think the Ravens are good. I mean, I thought they were going to be great this year. I think they are nowhere near great.
Their last 4 games decided by 4 points or less. Right. So there is a world in which the Ravens are 5-2, 6-1.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, there was a terrible Harbaugh call to go for it on 4th down, which he does every once in a while. Earlier this season, but that was last season too. They ended up 8-8, and they could have won many of those games just from the end. But I don't know. The second half collapses has stunk. Lamar was playing good his first 4 games. The last 3, he'll come back around though. I have faith in him. I do love watching the team. The team is always exciting to watch. I mean, Adam on my team is a Commanders fan.
Ugh.
So
hard to swallow that one.
It's hard to swallow. I always feel good about the Ravens.
In an episode where technology has failed us repeatedly, the autofocus on the camera has also started to fail us. So we're going to say goodbye. Thank you for the comments, Matt. Thank you so much for joining us.
This is
a
awesome.
really great update on what we're doing here at Sport Trade. I hope people understand that if you talk to us, we are humans. We are here. We're not just a voicemail for you to leave a message into. We will answer and we will address your concerns. So, Matt, this has been great. Thanks so much for joining us. Tomorrow, we're right back here in Studio S with Rob Ellis. We're going to be talking about the Phillies going to the World Series. We're going to be talking about the Birds as well as they have a game against cross-state rival, one could argue, the Pittsburgh Steelers. But that'll do it for us. Same time, same place tomorrow. AFC North, right? Mm-hmm. Rivalries run deep. Yep. We'll check you out here tomorrow. Same time, same place, except hopefully things work. We'll be on at 4. See you then.